shopping for deer. I went shopping for deer. There were no deer. The shopping cart became the deer. I brought it home, climbed inside, and turned off the lights. The seasons changed. I lived on Earth. Sometimes the bright sun shone. I became old. When I die, I will remember the deer. I will remember its wheels and antlers. I will remember its flesh and lightning, its womb of silver bones. The haircut. Each hair is equal. Each hair is entitled to the same rights, privileges, and caresses by fingers and the wind as every other hair, his father had said. And so he would honor his father. His hair would not be the uneven and unfair coiffure of the past. It would be new hair, long, equal, and proud. The other kids did not understand. They carried him to the woods in a cardboard box and buried him beside an old sofa. On Monday, in darkness, he imagined the innumerable grassland of his scalped savanna. On Tuesday, a vast prehistoric fern rising from the verdant forest floor of his organically vibrant head. Wednesday, prize wheat on the trackless blonde prairie of his pink pate. By Thursday, he knew that this was another impossible dream. One of his hairs was different. It grew faster than the others. It was magnificent. Sunday night, it broke the earth's surface and he emerged from his paper tomb. He went straight home and stayed there. He would not leave, for though he had an extensive style and trim, a short back and sides, a buzz, a perm, a treatment, the one hair again became huge and snaked through the rooms of his house, like the black power cords of the many morning talk show film crews who visited him, freakishly imprisoned within his small and now rather unkempt bedroom. For as it had grown, the fame of this single marvelous hair had grown also. The crowds surrounded his house, congregated in his yard, disturbed the neighbors, searching for hairnets, for product, for discarded and possibly unrecognized remarkable hairs. The people came from throughout the land, from over the seas, from salons with blue-combed sterilizer water and scented brushes. His hair grew until it was an antenna extending around the world in its normal to oily embrace. Children played beside the hair. They held sections and played jump rope. One a daisy, two a daisy, let's step in. But the hair divided villages. It was a wall through the main street. Animals coming across the hair in the midst of migration mistook it for an oil pipeline, changed their route, and died. His father would not be proud. Though his hair had become a symbol of the earth's pugnacious fertility, it had also become a security fence between nations. The Nobel Prize Committee awarded his hair the Peace Prize, only so they could disgrace the hair by taking it back. Generals met in secret to discuss plans to develop electrolysis from space, but still the hair grew. The children who had buried him talked to each other from the computers in their rooms. They schemed. Something needed to be done. His hair now reached beyond the earth and was as a comb-over for Jupiter. What would happen if they demanded if the hair curled and began to crowd out the sun? We need the hair, he told them. The hair is everything, good and evil, memory and prediction. It is the spirit of animals lined up, one after the other, as if waiting for a movie. The drainpipe of space spiked bright with stars. It is 100 deaths descending the playland slide, dark robes fluttering, their shoeless feet pulled up close, the howling throat of a toddler-minded man remembering spring. We need the long hair, he said. It is the ever-growing black stem of a daisy sent from the future to remind us who we are and who we might be. We are equal, he said, but only with ourselves and our futures. The hair is a long finger, and it is pointing at us. The children went into their backyards and looked toward heaven. Satellites moved across the sky, dodging the giant hair. Wind from over the fence tousled the children's bangs. We believe you, they said. We love you. Should I speak to people out there in internet land?
Yeah, I don't know how many.
I think we're being hacked by those Chinese guys who wanted the Treasury Board. I can tell this is the information that they were really looking for.
It could have been, yeah.
So I'd like to read a poem. It's in a few parts. As I wrote it in memory of a friend of mine who died this fall, Carrie Schooley. It's based on a painting by Bruegel called Woodland Road with Travelers. 1. They are small, walking away, the travelers with their burdens, men, women, the very old. They walk a road that was never a road, the travelers with their burdens, trudging through the shady wood. Their children tramp beside them or are carried in their arms. One girl with a moth instead of an eye. The distance invents itself with their moving, the dark arm of night like a maitre d's invitation. After you, Madame and Monsieur, after you. A woman with no legs, but instead a skirt of birds, and she moves like water, dark hair braided by tide. Shit falls from a donkey. An old man carries a violin. They walk with only the leaves for song. 2. Wind blows across the hemisphere, neither happy nor sad, old nor young. Clouds and the rain from clouds, rain and the sound of rain. Rain carried by the river and through the stumpy hairs of grass. Those who have become shadow, we call shadow because, bereft of shadow, we feel vivid, yet block the light. When it rains, surely there must be spaces where the drops don't fall. 3. In the distance, far behind the main characters, a bridge flows, a small stream. You stand beside it. The stream goes nowhere. Empty villages, taskless dogs, abandoned rivers without thirst or laundry. The paint around us precise and forlorn. We try to hold the past inside us, but, as a man in a cart observes, at least one end of the donkey knows it can't last. 4. The woods, both shadow and light, a road that isn't a road, words that don't say what they should. A red bird in the foliage of ribs, pumping a kind of flight, blood, thermal, song. Broken tree, a stump-like tongue, sky, a donkey-colored half-shadow, moth-light in the eyes. 5. A crank phone call from a tree. The horizon provides us with a whole new perspective. The future converges, the sighing of leaves, the doorbell rings, an order for pizza that involves no autumn, but endless rain. 6. Those in the kitchen whose minds travel, walking through forests. Those who make toast and think of mountains, unwalking like forests. Leaves which think of trees, the horizon which cannot exist except from far away, time itself a leaf. In nature, the scientists say, beauty is created through death. We make things faster. We make things slower. Something about drawing a line, knowing you'll have to cross it. 7. This is what it is to be living, the forest. I become a kind of geography. On a mountain, reach out. My hands go through remembering. I walk into the yard, sit on the grass and look up. The sky has plenty. What? Clouds? Geography? Memories? 8. I walk around and around, the world a flaneur, not yet decided which way to turn. My grandmother in her bed, her children, their children and their children's children gathered, her breath, her breathing. In the garden, leaves, leaving. We hold our breath, breathing. 9. Bruegel. The traveler stands before travel, a terrain to be traversed. Wheeled vehicles and wayfarers, the final stretch of a woodland road, a luminous plain, a distant city. The traditional thoughts, browns, greens, blue, a light-filled radiance, a rolling plain, coach teetering on the ridgeline. Moth eyes, a dip in the road, a steady course, low roads, turns, dead ends, detours. The trailing darkness, a recent storm, fair weather ahead, light-filled pools. Meanwhile, the trees, sullen browns, struggling old oaks, green along the road. It's funny I wrote this for my friend, and so it's really got nothing, basing it after a Renaissance painting really has nothing, it seems incongruous relative to what his interests are, though I did use the word shit, which maybe he would be proud of me. It's the first time I've used it in a poem.
Really?
Yeah,
That's the first time?
First time I'm really feeling empowered now that the vast landscape of languages opened up to me now, and I'm almost unstoppable.
Cool.
So I'd like to read some. I've been working on a novel, and actually I just noticed I borrowed some lines from the novel in that last poem. So it's kind of, maybe it'll be like, okay, now you confirmed that I am a man of very few ideas, that I just recycle endlessly, or maybe you'll find it interesting that I've recontextualized them. Or maybe the fact that this novel is narrated by a parrot, and the parrot just imitates things. Maybe that's why. So I'll just read it. I'm going to read the first little bit of it, and we'll see how it goes.